Number 20, George Ward.
The Detroit Cooley Cardinals are the champions.
Welcome to State Champions Podcast. We back in the building. How you doing, G, today?
Man, come on, man. I'm good. Just off of colonoscopy this morning, man. But I'm good, man. Brothers, get to the doctors too, man. Really, get to your doctor's office real quick. But good. Got great topics. Got great topics today, man. Looking forward to the show.
Make sure y'all log in to SCP. Follow us on Facebook, IG, and all those places.
Hey, hit the subscribe.
You got to hit the subscribe button. So on State Champions Podcast, y'all know what we do. We talk about people, politics, community, and culture with two great friends, 35 plus years, current coach, former coach. I think you could have been a state champion at once upon a time for coaching the team, but you didn't make it just yet. What would our podcast be without talking about sports?
Yeah.
I'm your co-captain, Raphael Peterson. To my left and to your right, my man, George T. Ward Jr. How you doing, man? Tell everybody how you doing. What's going on for the summer?
Man, ain't too much going on for the summer outside of basketball and family, man. Just trying to make sure everybody stays healthy. Not just me, not just my family, but trying to make sure that everybody understands the value of staying safe.
Yeah, staying safe for sure.
You know, with our topic today, we understand, too, what warm weather can bring to the inner city.
Oh, yeah.
So, you know, just trying to make sure our people understand, trying to remain safe and have fun at the same time, man, and enjoy each other and love one another.
Oh, make sure I got to reiterate this, G. Follow us on IG, Facebook, YouTube. Hit the subscribe button, hit the like, hit the bell so you always know what we are talking about on State Champions Podcast. Also, tell a friend to follow us as well. G, before we get started, I think a lot of people should know this. You can advertise on State Champions Podcast to promote your brand, your company, your ideas. If you want to be a sponsor or sponsor a segment or entire show, make sure you shoot us a text at 313-314-8400. Just like this next organization, which is Michigan Elite Football Club, is rated the top in Michigan. The first 7-on-7 in the state of Michigan started back in 2009 by none other than Ron Rice, former Detroit Lion. Meal the Thrill Coleman. You don't remember Meal the Thrill. There you go. Former Chicago Bears CFL star.
Swords, man. Michigan State University.
There you go. And you know, they got legendary coaches over there. They have even Coach Kevin Glenn, CFL All-Star, was a bad brother. They're hosting their annual Midwest Elite 7-on-7 tournament May 28th and May 29th at Farmington Hills High School, North Farmington Hills High School. Make sure you go to my Michigan Elite Football Club for more information.
Check them out.
Make sure you check them out. G, I think we'll be remiss not to talk about this next person.
Uh-oh.
You know how it is. We got a lot of Cooley alumni in the building.
Oh, man.
If we didn't talk about this person who making waves in the NBA as a first-year head coach for the New Orleans Pelicans.
Wow.
None other than Willie Green. Hey, Q, can you cue up that picture? Because I want to show this picture that brother Willie Green had on when he's at the press conference. When you see what I tell people, Willie's sitting there chilling, but what I like more importantly is the shirt.
Oh, that's right.
God is dope t-shirt. Now, see, this is what I like. God is dope. So he shook up the NBA world, G. He shook it up.
Still shaking them up.
Yeah. Took his underhanded Pelicans, because most everybody thinking they underhanded. Zion not there. They knocked out the Clippers and Paul George in the play-in game, right? So just last night, Willie and the Pelicans, they beat the Phoenix Suns 125-115. Tied the series up 1-1. I think that a lot of experts say that, hey, the Suns are the perennial favorites to win the championship.
A lot of people say that. Yeah.
But what if Willie Green and the New Orleans Pelicans knock them off? I don't know, G. I know you remember David and Goliath.
Come on, man. Come on. That's what they're gonna say. You know, but I will say this: you can see how prepared they are.
Oh, ain't no question about it.
You could talk your head off. Phoenix is talented. They tough. They experienced. They coach. But for Willie to do what he's doing right now, on that stage,
big time,
and to go in Phoenix and win, I don't know. I think they get. I know they'll get at least 2 more.
Okay,
that's all I'm saying.
2 more.
They at least. I'm talking about minimally. They're gonna get 2 more.
I saw the game last night, and I thought they played very well. And I just want to tell this quick story about Willie. I just remember years ago when we were coaching Willie, and we were going up to Joe Dumars, Sterling Heights. And I remember this particular year, we had a co-ed team out there. And, you know, it was different kids from all over the city, all over the state, actually. And so what happened, it seemed like Willie ended up on my team because of course, I can pick my own Cooley players. We had a little draft at the time. So what ended up happening, pick Willie, we in a championship game. We out there, game on the line, call a timeout. We gonna run this. We ran a double screen to Willie. Willie looking at me. You know how Willie is, calm, cool, collected. Never, I'm telling you, I've never heard Willie really raise his voice, to be honest. And ran the play. We were down 1. Willie come off the down screen, double pick, set the feet, bang, game over. But the thing that I remember most was that he really just act like this was normal.
Yeah, it was.
You know what I'm saying? It was normal for him. And I was like, man, he didn't get too excited. He was like, really like, coach, this is like what I do.
Always on the even keel.
Always on the even keel. And always on that even keel. And I think this, I want to, for a second, I want everybody to look at, you posted this on Facebook the other day, G.
Yeah, I did.
When they were in the huddle, down 10, Q, can you play that video for us? Because it gives me chills when I see it.
Get your freaking heads up. This is what we live for. This is what we worked hard for. Okay, we ain't giving it up. We are not freaking giving this up. You gotta freaking fight. You gotta fight.
Man, now, so when you see that, I'm telling you, man, I say it again, it gives me chills because the energy that he was bringing, the excitement, the intensity, the leadership, and he barely raised his voice a little bit. Hey, Q, I got to say it just one more time because it just gives me chills. And I'm going to point out something. You know I'm going into this, G.
It's a 10-point game going in the 4th quarter. Okay? Get your freaking heads up. This is what we live for. This is what we worked hard for. Okay, we ain't giving it up. We are not freaking giving this up. You gotta freaking fight. You gotta fight.
Not G, not seriously, man. Now, me and you done coached a long time. See, one thing about it, now I'm telling you, I think I heard Shaq over there talking to one of the reporters and talking about how Willie has been the same person all his life. Willie probably, I'm telling you, Willie probably never thought, I'm going to make some money in the NBA at the time, early on. At Cooley, never thought that. And then to be fortunate and blessed enough to go on to make a lot of money and be a head coach.
Absolutely.
But what I like about the huddle, if you notice, because if it was you, G, I already know you would have been cussing.
Well,
see, you would
have.
No, see, G, this is what I'm trying to tell you.
This is how we do, though.
No, but see, this is what I'm saying.
Man, though, you going to say you knew I would have been cussing.
Well, I would have been cussing a little bit,
you
too.
You heard yourself cuss more than you heard me cuss.
No, not really.
I had you think about it. Okay, go ahead.
No, but so think about it. Willie is in the huddle. A lot of those young guys.
Come on, man.
Listening to him. It's an intense moment. And you notice he said freaking.
Yeah, a couple times.
No cussing. No. I'm telling you, G, that's a class act if you ever want to see one. And I remember seeing just the other day, I think it was on TNT or whatever network it was on, and they talked about him and Monty Williams from the Suns and how they're both God-fearing young men.
Absolutely.
And the way they carry themselves, you can only hope for the best for both of them, but somebody has to lose. But G, expand on your experience with Willie when we were back at Cooley and just how he was throughout those days at Cooley.
Well, you know, what's crazy for me is, you know, you're looking at, obviously, you know, our fans can't see it, but you got Jason McGowan, Michael Gardner here, LeVar Baird, a.k.a. Shaq. So just remembering these guys and watching them play and watching Willie always be the same way all the time. I don't care how tight the situation got. You know, he gonna have maybe a different look on his face, but he not gonna rip into anybody. And if you kind of got into him, he gonna respond to you how you would want a young man too. You know, the thing that kind of stands out for me is two things. One day we scrimmage at CMA. I'll never forget it, at Cooley High School. And CMA is, you know, ironically enough, they're up there and they're kind of playing and really kind of going through the motions a little bit.
Okay.
And a guy blocked his shot. And I remember the young fella acted as if, you know, he had just gotten drafted. And I looked at Willie and I said, man, come on. Now it's time for you to play. And I watched this young fella dominate the scrimmage from that point on. And I said to myself, I said, he can get wherever he wants to get to as it relates to basketball. And I was talking about professionally, college, whatever he wanted to get to. You could see the strength. You didn't see waist movements. You know, even in the huddle, you could see that he was very strict and focused on what he had to talk about. And he was very, very focused, and he was going to be a leader. He did that on a basketball court. But also, I remember the Persian game.
Yeah. Okay. Talk about the Persian game.
You know, so for all the dope boys, and I know y'all probably watching the game, but y'all tune in. I'm gonna make sure Todd Bergen and Khalil, y'all can hear. Y'all tune in.
Yeah.
So we're playing in the city semifinals.
Okay.
And I remember we were smaller back then a little bit. And I remember saying, now Persian like to run up and down this floor. And I remember saying to some guys, I said, now listen, I got the best backcourt anywhere. So if y'all run up and down this big old floor, y'all gonna have a problem.
Yeah.
And you know, they had a guy, and everybody know the lefty, Martise Lee.
Yep.
He had signed with St. John's, and he was everybody's perennial favorite. Everybody saw, man, he the baddest boy out. And I kept saying, well, I got the best point guard around in 23.
Okay.
Skinny kid.
Yeah.
I said, but this 34 about to really make something happen. Needless to say, we walked out the gym. I think we won about 15 to 20 points. They dominated the game. And you never saw, I mean, Willie blocked a shot one time, and he went up to the square and got somebody jump at Kobo.
Wow.
And I'm thinking, and he never changed.
I
mean, his facial
demeanor didn't change at all.
I'm listening to Kobo, and it's electric in there. And I'm watching Willie, and I'm thinking, like, man, this dude really has a calmness to him that will take him to another level. So to watch a young man, you know, obviously we've been coaching a long time. You're talking about 1995 when I started, when Coach called me. You know, you're talking about 36 years later.
Yeah. Ain't that crazy, man?
You know, you're talking about some real years later, man, almost. So for us, we're 26. So you're looking at it, and to see Willie now as grown man and coaching in the NBA.
Yeah, and that's crazy to me, man.
NBA, you're talking about a man who's succeeding.
Yeah,
and who is setting the bar higher and higher every day. So what nobody is talking about when they talk about coach of the year for me, I like to think about what you do with a little bit.
Oh, a little bit.
See, I know anybody can make a lot of lemonade if you got 50 lemons. Yeah. I'm a guy that has been able to make lemonade with 2-3 lemons sometimes.
Okay.
Willie Green is making lemonade at the highest level, and it tastes good, and it's selling good, and he got maybe 1 or 2 lemons.
Gee, I want you to go. I remember you told me a story how one time in the hallway you saw Willie, but he was never into anything. You see him, he on his way to class. Tell that story. I remember that story, but I want you to, tell that story, man.
I don't forget now. I think it's a Taurus, I think it was. He got a car, I think, and I remember but you could see what you saw more than anything, especially with that group. You saw the discipline.
Yeah. Now,
1 or 2 of them guys every now and again, I ain't gonna say their name. They was gonna do some things, and you be scratching your head. But I
wonder who those guys were.
Okay,
all right, we ain't gonna say.
But the one thing that was amazing is Willie parked his car in the back. We would park our cars as adults, and he come on in the gym, come to school, and everything was good. But he wasn't never skipping. Yeah. And that crew, and again, how coach had set that program, guys were going to class, guys were handling their business, and he kind of epitomized. Yeah,
the leadership part of it.
He kind of epitomized what this thing was all about. So when you look at it now, what he's doing, you know, of course, somebody would say, you know, you're a little surprised, but I can't say I'm shocked.
Yeah, no, absolutely not.
Say that we shocked because, you know, I saw him down at the NBA Top 100 camp a few years ago, and I was telling Jason McGowan and Dale Barbier this earlier. And when I saw him, he was shocked to see me because he didn't know I was working it, and I was shocked to see him because I didn't realize how deep he wanted to get into coaching. Okay. And there's a coaches program that's probably the best in the professional ranks, what the NBA does with their players, for guys that really want to get into coaching. Yeah. But what you saw, you know, I'm looking at guys that are down there, Rajon Rondo. You're looking at some of the elite pros who are down there.
Right.
but the respect
that they had for
that
Willie.
Willie garnered everywhere he went.
Wow.
And how he conducted himself.
Mhm.
And I said to myself, well, it won't be long. I just didn't realize that this thing would just go this fast. I'm gonna be honest.
Yeah.
And I looked at him, he got the head job. I knew he was interviewing for the New Orleans job. And I figured they would make him wait a year or two.
Okay.
You know, obviously he's been successful when he was as an assistant at Golden State, won a ring or two there, and then at Phoenix did a great job. I didn't realize he was gonna get a job this quick.
Right.
But Lord have mercy, he's doing his thing, man. We're proud of him.
Oh, ain't no question. I got to tell this quick story. I don't know if a lot of people know this story. I remember when I was still out on the circuit and we were still playing. And God rest his soul told, so we would be up at UAD hooping all the time. Willie was coming out of high school and we were playing, and Coach come through, Coach Watson.
Yep.
And Coach sat down, and anybody who knows the Cooley Southwestern history, how intense it got in the latter years. For a couple of obvious reasons, because we beat them a lot of times. But so we're in the gym, and I remember P. Watson coming up to me, and he said, "Man, Rap, I saw Willie in the Michigan Ohio All-Star game." He said, "I really want Willie, but you know how me and Ben relationship is." I was like, "Coach," I said, "Well, you're talking about a situation between you and Coach Kelso, and this goes to his family." I said, "This is what I said." I said, "Listen to me." I said, "The person you need to talk to, Coach Gary Green." This is what I told him. I'll never forget this. He said, "You think so?" I said, "You need to talk to him, and it may work out." And I really believe that was part of the beginning, because Coach Watson didn't even want to approach him.
Yeah.
And I said, "No, Willie's family, they are great people." And you think about
Undeniable.
Coach Green, how he was.
Undeniable.
Think about how Coach Green
Rest
was.
his soul,
Think
right.
about Lil Ben. Think
Rest
about
his
how
soul.
he was. They were just class acts. And obviously his dad, you were saying he would come to the games, but dad didn't say much.
They said-
Saw his dad about a couple of years back out on the golf course. I'm practicing, but he's still doing it for real.
Yeah.
But to the point, the family was outstanding people.
Absolutely.
And you see why Willie is in the position that he's in terms of his character class and the way he conduct themselves. And when I see him in that huddle and he said what he said, I was like, wow. I couldn't have did that, because I would have been like,
you
I'd have been cussing, but
I
go
would-
ahead.
I'd have been cussing too.
uh-huh.
Well, to almost finish it off, you know, I know a couple guys that obviously we know some guys that played at University of Detroit.
Yes, sir.
And I can laugh when they tell the stories because, you know, obviously, you know, young men in college, 19, 20 years
Yeah.
old. So some of them guys are coming off long nights.
Yeah.
So Willie is in the weight room. They got a lift, Willie in the weight room. So Willie in there working.
Yeah.
And some of the guys, when they saw Willie, they said, "Man, he's gonna make us look bad, man. We got to get ourselves together."
Mhm.
And that's exactly his running, everything that he did every day. When you
Mhm.
talk to his college teammates, you know, Darius Beelan and some of those guys, man, who were at UAD with him, they say, "Man, listen, Willie was going to be on time.
Mhm.
He was going to be where he's supposed to be, and he was going to do what he was supposed to do."
Right.
So that just kind of summarized when guys talk about getting
Yeah.
to the next level. You know, a lot of people want to talk to the very most talented player.
Yeah,
That
all the time.
No, what you better look at is, do you have the intangibles
Right, the
to
intangible.
get to the next level?
There you go.
Do you have the discipline to get to the next level? And are you willing to sacrifice a lot of the things that, you know, pop culture tells you you're supposed to have?
Oh, of course. No, you know, we're going to slide into pop culture. I'm going to tell this last story because it's just one of those things I remember when Willie came back. I think he was still with Philly at the time, and I was the head coach at Cooley, and he came up and he's, you know, Rap, what y'all need? And I was like, man, we need some uniforms. So he called this guy. Did Dez Ferguson play with him?
Yeah.
They played together.
Moneyball.
Moneyball Sports and Moneyball, they created uniforms, and Willie paid for them uniforms. I'll never forget that. I was appreciative of that. And I'm sure, I think I see a lot of kids wearing the unis to this day.
Yeah, they still got it. I saw a dude at the store on Rolls in the Fecal with that Jordan.
Yeah.
But hold on. I'm going to one up you.
Okay.
Now, this crazy you said this. And I'm going to close this thing out.
Okay.
Willie calls me. I'm at Southeastern.
Okay.
So this is probably 2011.
All right.
So Willie like, man, look, coach, you know, what y'all need, man. You know, I'm going to get y'all some shoes. I'm going to do something for you, man. So, you know, I told myself, man, we straight on this. Maybe we need, give us another pair of shoes when the playoffs start. So the shipment hadn't come in. Willie has come in town to play an NBA game.
Okay.
This is a little known Black history fact.
Okay. I
Willie
like this
Green
one.
calls me in the morning and say, "Gee, did y'all get those shoes yet?" I said, "No, man." Probably he called me and said, "Man, give me some sizes." So I'm thinking, like, okay, man, I'm gonna have to go.
Yeah. He go-
Willie went to the mall.
Wow.
Willie Green went to the mall. See, like people don't realize this. Willie Green had an NBA game at 7:30 p.m. in his hometown.
Yeah.
Now,
he's busy.
He don't play for the Pistons.
Yeah,
so
he's busy.
He's visiting again, okay? So he got obligations. He's got family obligations. Willie Green, the head coach of New Orleans Pelicans, went to the mall and made sure that the Southeastern Jungleers were good. So for me, people can talk about people with good character and they do some things and they get hit and all of that. Willie didn't forget. And obviously you can't fulfill every obligation that everybody has for you.
Of course not.
But I will say this, for him to get in his car or get in somebody's car, go to the mall to pick up some shoes, Lord knows he could have easily said, hey, coach, man, y'all ain't going to get them today.
Yeah.
They'll be in at some point. He drove to the mall and get some shoes, man. So God bless, man. We proud of you, Will, for real. Finkel and Hubble in the building, CC crew.
All right, so I think we got to move on to our next subject. I have to play that last part of that video. Let's play the whole video again because it's going to slide me right into our subject matter. Right into our segment.
Coach in his first year for the they might bring it in. He took the best punch. It's a 10-point game going in the fourth quarter. Okay? Get your freaking heads up. This is what we live for. This is what we worked hard for. Okay? We ain't giving it up. We are not freaking giving this up. You gotta freaking fight. You gotta fight.
Man.
That's an award-winning State Farm audio assist from the head coach.
You gotta fight.
You gotta fight, man.
So
what you gonna fight for, though?
So here's the problem that I have, G.
Okay.
Our subject matter this evening, the infiltration of pop culture and its impact on our community. How is it that we are not fighting for our children and our community?
Wow.
See, a lot of people don't understand what pop culture is. And you think about pop culture and what it covers. Pop culture covers entertainment, film, music, television, video games, sport, and news, people, places, you name it. Politics, fashion, technology, even slang, G.
Yes, absolutely.
Even slang. So when we start thinking about this, I'm just telling you what I believe. We are under attack.
We're under attack right now.
We are under attack, and pop culture is absolutely guiding this whole thing. And nobody seems to say anything. So in one
Why is that, Ralph?
But see, G, I'm telling you, people are afraid to stand up to what's right. See, a lot of times people want you to lie to them. They don't want to talk about real things in our community. So when we think about this, let's talk about the influence that pop culture has on our young people. You and I every single day. Quincy Smith, outreach worker. He's the head of the group. We sitting and we talking to kids. The drug usage, the violence, the rap lyrics, the lawlessness of young people. I want you to cue up the song Kodak Black. Now, I want y'all to hear this. This is a drug about drug use, just really quick. And I want y'all to hear this lyric. And me and G gonna break this down.
I knew the perk was fake, but I still ate it because I'm a grim.
G, so when Kodak Black says, listen, talking about perks, I knew they were fake, but I took them anyway. So now, wait a minute. So because I'm a gremlin.
Wow.
Well, we remember the movie Gremlin. Huh?
Yeah. You don't want to be a gremlin.
You don't want to be a gremlin under no circumstances.
That's right.
But think about this, taking perks now. How is it that Kodak Black is the person that's the spokesperson that all these kids are looking up to?
Wow.
And he said he knew the perk was fake and I took it anyway. Gee, can you think about that and break that down? And what you think when you hear that song and how it impacts young people?
What do I think when I hear it? Well, all of us have daughters.
Yes.
Obviously we dealing with our sons and our sons will be fine as long as we stay the course. But I'm thinking about my daughter. And I'm thinking about how our daughters can be impacted by dating young men who have this type of mindset. So he said he knew it was fake.
Yeah, he knew it was fake.
But I'm gonna take it anyway. So now what do you suggest now? So these young men that listen to this, these young men that are influenced by these type of lyrics, they are going to do the exact same thing. So you have to be very conscious of what you're listening to, what we're watching, and more importantly, who we're following. But you know, these cell phones have placed us in a trick bag.
Yes, sir.
Because it used to be a time.
But that's what part of pop culture. See, that's technology. But go ahead.
So my grandmother, my paternal grandmother, used to call it the idiot box.
Television. Yeah.
But at least when you watch the television, Ralph, you walked in, your grandmother, your mama could watch it, just they could see what you were watching.
Yeah, they can watch everything you do.
These cell phones have this thing now where your children could be on the phone and you don't have a clue as to what they're looking at, what they're listening to.
Yes, sir.
And I've made an accident and hit the wrong button on a word and misspelled something or had a typo. And Lord knows I couldn't believe what came up on my screen. So what our children are being exposed to is just unreal. But these rappers don't feel any obligation at all to the community. And that's one of the saddest things that I've been able to see, man, because it wasn't like this when rap first started.
I know. So then we had another. I'm gonna talk about a couple of artists because these are the things that's going to impact our community. I think it was Future. He said, "I took the pink one, and I could barely move." And so I was thinking in my head, if you take something and you could barely move,
you don't want that.
Why would you like paralyzed? But see, here's the problem with the whole picture, though. These are the people that the young people are listening to.
That's all I'm saying.
And pop culture has a filthy way of coming in, infiltrating, and then people look and say, well, wait a minute. Why are the kids acting this way? Because realistically speaking, it's a whole breakdown now. And we go to the school system and all of that. But when we think about it, in most cases, in urban communities, I think the last numbers I saw, maybe 75% of the young people that are being raised, they're raised by their mothers. So
3 out of 4.
So then if that's the case, mom probably has to work. So the kid is raising themselves.
Absolutely.
So what happens? They start to listen to the music. And so then they look at the TV and they see Future. You see Kodak Black and Lil Wayne. And then Lil Wayne had a song was "What's in My Cup" or something to this effect, and talking about drinking lean, and said, "What's in my cup, it don't make a difference." It does, because you're leading somebody. Well, so I want to say this before we transition, because think about what if, and I'm going back and forth a little bit to Willie, because what if Willie said, man, I got enough money, I can say anything I want on the TV and not have an obligation because he got a lot of money.
He got the money to do so.
And everybody think because the rappers or the popular people can say what they want because they have money. What's your take on that phase of it when you look at this lean? This is another thing that's destroying our young boys and girls.
Well, you got to understand something. You know, we're the most faddish. We are so faddish.
Yes, sir.
Unbelievable. So whatever is going on, we doing it.
Yeah.
And we do it to a whole nother level. So when you talk about lean, and you know, some of these young people, they'll come in because they want to be recognized so much.
Yeah.
You know, again, we knew guys that smoke funny looking cigarettes when we were in high school. That's not new.
Yeah, nothing new.
But the way it's being done now, so everybody can know.
Yeah.
You know, you saw a guy with some Visine in the bathroom at Cooley High School. You knew.
Yeah, he's smoking a little
man,
bit.
had a little fun.
Yeah.
But it wasn't a weed that you could smell like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, you know, we stop people at the door coming into the school, and it's unbelievable some of the size of, I guess they call them roaches. You know, I've seen a joint or a blunt the size of my fingernail, and you could smell up at least 500 feet worth of the school. So it's unbelievable that these young people, not only do they want to get high, but they want people to know that they're high. They want to be accepted.
Yeah, they want to be accepted.
One of the biggest problems with pop culture is this too. We have become prisoners to finances.
Oh,
now let me say this again. We have become prisoners to money, and because of MTV, C16s, and My Cribs and all that, we are literally trying to live out this fantasy, and we forsaken our children.
Oh, absolutely.
So our children now, used to be a time where you come home, you have a nice little snack, you know, be some dinner waiting on you. Now everything's Grubhub. You know, hey, mama busy, and I understand. Our women have to do what they have to do. Our families have to do what they have to do. But we've done a whole lot and forsaken our children.
Okay.
So when we look at the future right now, you know, we can sit here and lie, but we work with young people every day.
Every day.
So, you know, if you go into Christ and you're doing a wonderful job, and again, birds of a feather flock together. So there are very few of our friends, Raph, whose children are going through some of the things that we're talking about. But what I'm talking about is the average family that we see every day inside the schoolhouse it is unbelievable what they're dealing with on a daily basis. And it's unbelievable what their norm has become.
Yeah. Yeah, they know.
See, for me, that's the hardest part. What their norm has become.
Yeah.
It's so abnormal
Yeah.
that the parent now acts as if it is the norm as well. And that's the scariest thing for me. So I just think, man, when you start talking about our young people getting high, and another thing is, again, as far as pop culture is concerned, too many of our adults.
Oh, they fall into it too.
Pop culture.
Oh, I ain't no question. But
so when you see these men, well, adult males, I don't call them men. When you see these adult males trying to act out what they seen a 25-year-old rapper do, it scares the hell out of me.
Oh, yeah. Oh, so and to the point, G, just talking to some kids just recently, and I just listened to how people were talking about the young group, and they were talking. So it was a smell of marijuana in the building. So I'm at a middle school now. So I asked the kids, I say, well, who in here smokes anything? So I had 10 kids in the group. 9 out of the 10 raised their hand. The other young lady, they said, raise your hand because you smoke too.
What age group was this again, Ralph?
Middle school now. This middle school now. So the young lady said, I don't smoke weed. Y'all capping.
They lying.
They lying. She said, I smoke breezes. I said, wait a minute. Because coach needed a timeout. I need a full timeout because I had to ask the kid. I said, wait a minute.
It can't be the 30.
Oh, I say, hold on, timeout. Coach is not in the loop, but I need to know what breezes are.
Yeah.
Oh, coach, you know what those are, those vape things. Now, think about this. That group, my youngest kid, I think, is 12.
Your youngest kid was how old?
12.
Your oldest young person was how old in that group?
14. So when
between the age of 14 and 12.
There you go. Pop culture has come in. Listen to me now. People can say they won't. This is absolutely evil. So, of course, the next week I come back, follow up, show the effects to the body, what it's going to do to your body, and what they're trying to get you to do. See, pop culture wants you to get hooked on this stuff, and then you use it for the next 20, 30 years, and then you're in the same boat that the situation is. But, man, let's transition to this, how pop culture and the lyrics of rap music. I'm going to say a few. These are just some words that I'm going to say out. Chopper, 50 rounds, AR-15, Glock 40, 9mm, and 45s. No, I'm not trying to be funny, G. And we a little older, but when we were coming up,
51.
I remember Heavy D.
Oh, come on, man.
Listen,
bounce to the house.
Listen, all the classic songs. It was nothing negative. It was all the positive things. LL Cool J, I Need Love. The classic.
Big old butt.
Yeah. Around the Way Girl. You know, all the good things that were positive. But now you listen at the music. Chopper, 50 rounds, AR-15, 9mm, Glock 40, 45. So now, here come the infiltration. Because now the kids are listening to this guy and these guys and these girls. You got to remember they listening to them, but you got to remember they already gave them perks and lean and breezes, as the kids say.
Wow.
So now you high.
As ever.
You high.
And you got a Glock.
And you got a Glock. But see, what about if you got the 50 rounds? Because one of the rappers said, I'm gonna let 50 rounds off.
Just let them go.
I'm gonna spin your block twice. It's gonna look like a war zone. What?
So you can't. So Raph, it goes to a point. I want anybody listening in, anybody tuning in.
Yeah.
Regardless of the platform, please comment. You can't call in right now, but please comment and we'll get to you. We're gonna respond back. And please, anybody that's watching right now, you know somebody's watching the game or at rehearsal, wherever they are, make sure they tune in tomorrow. Make sure they listen tomorrow. Show them how they can find us. Go to YouTube, State Champions Podcast, because these are important topics.
Absolutely.
But Raph, I want you to think about this. Somebody has to take responsibility for this. And we can't continue to maneuver as if this isn't happening.
Oh, of course.
We had a young lady and 2 young men the other day arrested for the shooting of an unarmed, innocent woman.
Oh, yeah. I saw this.
Trying to take care of her family.
Yeah.
One of the young men was 18 years old. They falsely stated that this young man attended King High School. He's not a King student. He was enrolled at King maybe 2 or 3 years ago. but he hasn't been enrolled at King High School in over 2 years. But I know the young fella, and I'm gonna leave it at that. But what we've done is we've given our young people too many options.
Yes, sir.
What I say is, you're talking about lean, you're talking about getting high. You know, we knew there were certain things that we could do to get in trouble, but now it's almost like this thing is staring our young people right in their face every single day, and they can't be considered cool unless they're doing some of these negative things, especially, again, it goes back to, especially if you don't have strong parental guidance at home.
Oh, of course.
So at 4 a.m, I'm trying to figure out, man, what you doing out?
Anyway.
What you doing out? And what are you doing with these characters here? And now these so-called rappers and everything that's going on now, nobody wants to say, you know what, we're responsible and we need to do something about it, and let's change the way we send our message. But it goes back to the financial slavery, because now everybody has to have the biggest chain on. I'm watching guys, and I'm
the biggest chain.
I'm thinking like, man, okay, I'm in love with fashion. I like guys, you know, women dressing nice with
of course.
But when we get to a point where every day is a competition, so now our young people feel the stress. They go online again. You talking about
pop culture. There you go, pop culture.
Online, I'm looking at a guy and he got a chain on and he got 300 likes. You look at yours and you ain't got but 10. So now the competition is real. So now what do you got to do? You got to do something quick.
Yeah.
And we become such slaves to these finances, man, and our young people. And what we're doing is really, really sad.
Yeah.
Because we fed, as parents, we fed this foolishness. Now we can blame people.
Cell phones at 10 years old.
Cell phones are 6, 7 years old. And what you're doing is you're buying your child's love. Yeah. But you can't keep it up. I've seen more $500, $600, $700 pair of shoes on people without jobs. No, man. I mean, let's not lie to ourselves. So if you go to Lake Orion, you know, if you go to Sterling Heights, Stevenson, you go to some of these schools, Warren Cousin, you're not looking at guys with $700 shoes on. For what? The instructors, and I tell the guys every day, I said, listen, man, if I spent $700 on some shoes, I swear to you, I know I will wake up in a cold sweat. I know every night I would be thinking like, what did I just do with $700? But you don't have a dime. And again, this goes to the maternal, nurturing love, where mama can't make sure this boy let that thing go. She feels pressured. And what she's doing now, pop culture now, she's going on social media and showing everybody the money that she spent on these foolish things. Now you got to be a fool, because you, not only is your child trying to keep up with the culture, you are too. And if you don't think that's the most destructive thing that is happening to our families, then we're crazy.
So think about this, G, because I think a lot of this pop culture thing, and people say, well, you know, these guys, they got money and they playing sports or whatever they're doing. They can kind of do what they want to do. Well, just because you got money. See, you was always a fool. Now,
You just became a fool with money.
You became a fool with money. So when you think about it, we on the flyer for this particular episode, we got Antonio Brown. We never really touched on this, but we kind of did. And Antonio Brown, think about the message that he sent to the people. We go to the people. Now after you signed the contract. Now I promise you, if you hurt, you were hurt now.
Yeah, I'm with you.
And if they told you go out on the field and you decide you was hurt, and that's cool, that's fine. And whatever the man said, he said, you done, you finished, or whatever he proclaimed.
If he swung a punch at you.
Yeah. Explain to me what possessed him
to lead the field.
Lead the field, take off his shirt. But I thought his ankle was hurt. He was doing jumping jacks. Yeah. But see, this is crazy. But everybody in our community was like, well, y'all got to understand, you don't know what the coach said to him.
I don't care.
Well, you don't know what the coach said, and the owner said when they sent that check on Friday.
Yeah.
And my thing is, if it's that bad, is that how you respond,
no, you don't respond
as an adult? That was childish behavior. So what's your take on briefly on Antonio Brown?
Well, what we've done is, you got to look at it. We're going to try to emulate what we see. And it's crazy because I remember watching Dr. J in the interview as a young fella. And I watched the game and I'm thinking like, well, I ain't gonna jump like that, so I ain't gonna dunk like that. But I see my man, the way he kicking it.
Yeah.
I remember watching Doc and I'm thinking, man, my man smooth as up. He just done had 28. But look at him. He's smooth. He's articulate. I read his book, and that's one of the things I can say as a role model. So these young men are looking at Antonio Brown. And the way, again, pop culture. So guess what ESPN is showing all the time? So you gotta understand, some attention is better than none. So some attention is good attention. So we showed him on ESPN, NBC. Every time you looked up, you saw Antonio Brown. So our young people gets to see that. And you don't believe there's been some young people across the country that have emulated that behavior or have been waiting to go off a field like that, then you lying to yourself, man. So, and I think this is part of the thing. I'm trying to get right now, I guess it's to load up a video, and we just talking about pop culture and these phones. I saw the one of the cutest videos ever yesterday, and Beyonce sent it to me, right? So it's a little girl. If Q can get this up, it's going to tickle you, but it's going to show you how pop culture has gotten to us to a point where you like, wow. Because she can't, I'm thinking she's not even 2, maybe 18 months, and it's going to trip you out. If Q can get this up, it is going to be amazing. You're not talking about the little girl in that outfit, are you? No, listen. No, listen. It's a video that a little girl, she trying to get her stuff set all up, for the phone, the IG. Oh, there you go. Here we go. Check this out. Oh, it ain't showing yet. Oh, we can see it in the studio, but we trying to get it on real quick. Let's see if you can get it on there. But it's amazing how the little mama, she got the phone and she trying to prop it up. Okay, she trying to prop it up. She boogie,
and she gonna prop it up and then check her out. Now check out. She gonna prop it up there, and then she got to get ready, and she doing her thing. I think about what has happened with this.
Because she's been watching people.
She's been watching people, the pop culture. Somebody around her.
Man, listen.
It's amazing.
TikTok, our people are TikToking every day. And
Instagram.
I love that part of it. But again, and social media is a wonderful, wonderful platform. But we can't use it for negative. And that's really what's been going on with us. I just think ultimately, though, as adults, we have to do a better job of holding our young people accountable and making sure they understand. Because again, some of the rap music that we heard was crazy. But guess what? I couldn't play it. I would never think to play it in front of my mother. No. I've heard some ringtones before with some of my players when that was kind of fashionable when your phone rang, the song came on. Yeah. And I was thinking like, what do you do when you go to your grandma's house? What, coach? They don't think nothing of it. Wow. Well, I didn't cuss. Man, I don't cuss in front of my parents to this day. I never cuss in front of my parents. I didn't understand. And when Mama Peterson is with me, man, I'm not saying damn. So I just think that we've been so consumed with what's going on, and we are the most tolerable generation of parents that has ever graced our community. Right. Because we tolerate everything, and it has allowed our young people to get so misinformed on what they're supposed to do inside the family structure. That's unbelievable. Okay, so let's transition to this. So we got another picture that's posted on here now. It's a young lady. Everybody knows this young lady, and we kind of had a little debate today about this. We brought it up what we were going to be talking about on the show. And the young lady, Lizzo, she's from here, right? Michigan, right? She's from Detroit. So Lizzo is walking around with her butt cheeks out. Now, I can promise you it doesn't make me a difference whether it's Lizzo or whether it's another lady. Just because you can do something don't mean that you should. That's right. And I'm trying to figure out, because in my mind, but again, pop culture has infiltrated the whole playing field. So now everybody is saying, well, that's her body. She should be able to do what she wants. She's showing everybody that she's proud of herself. To be proud, I'm proud of myself now. Too sexy for this syrup. But at least I was gonna say a dude chest out, Dooley. But what I'm saying, think about it. Think about what I'm saying. So Q got the video, man. Y'all got to see this video. Put this video up real quick and let everybody see this young lady. Too sexy for this world. Too sexy for this ice.
Too sexy for that
She
jack.
gotta get her phone set, man.
I'm
Getting her
too
phone all
sexy for
set
this
up.
chain. Too sexy for your game. Too sexy for this fame. Yeah. I'm too sexy for the trap. Too sexy for that cat.
Listen, got a pacifier in her mouth.
Cute as ever.
Now think about what I'm saying to you. She getting it all set up now.
Yeah.
Pop culture is a bad machine. Listen,
Well, just think
it's
of,
evil.
Think of the dance that she saw though with somebody else's phone and who was doing the dancing because she's emulating someone.
Yeah, she's trying to emulate somebody. But yeah, but now just imagine this young girl. What we talking about? What if she saw Lizzo? And see, because you gotta remember, what if somebody cut out? What if she wanted to cut out her diaper things in the back?
But Ralph, just because you can.
What if she did that? See, this is where we going. See, everybody's laughing, but this is where we going.
Hey, man, we laughing, but I've seen some crazy things in these middle schools and high schools.
Okay.
Some things that they've seen.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm confused as to just because you can.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean you're supposed to.
Oh, that's what I just said.
Are you telling me you're exercising your right as an adult
Mm-hmm.
to just have your behind out?
That's what you want people to see?
Well, again, and I'm gonna say it, and so many of us are afraid to say it publicly, but the harsh reality of it is, and Q said this, and I love how she said, my wife said, baby, we're looking at the world through rose lenses. And I said,
What? Say that again?
We're looking at the world through rose-colored lenses. In other words, we're looking at the world through the lens of a woman. That's what I tell her.
Gotcha.
See, now our women are speaking. See, it used to be a time where your mother would echo what granddad said, what your father said.
Yes, sir.
Girl, you better get. And even if she didn't fully agree, you know how many times I've heard mother say, girl, you better get your butt back in this house. You know your daddy ain't going. No, that meant something in our community. So now if we're going to talk, let's talk. The term, don't have me tell your daddy. The term, what would your daddy say, meant everything. Yeah. So even when daddy wasn't there, that was a prevailing term. Okay. Now, the rabbit has the gun. Yeah. So now mama can make the decision. Don't worry about what daddy got to say because she sees total control. And strategically, a lot of them have reproduced with weak men so they could continue their control. Yeah. To the demise of their child and children and family. And the community. But as long as they can, go buy a car when they feel like it, it's cool. But now our young people are being told things that their grandfather would roll over in his grave about. And so some of the things that we're seeing, Lizzo, even as a grown woman, and I respect her talent. Young woman does a great job. But at some point, enough is enough. Yeah, absolutely. What in the world would you get? And my thing is, okay, obviously you're an adult woman, so somebody has seen your behind. I'm not on that. Yeah, but you're gonna get on the plane. What do you think these people are thinking when you get on this plane? That she think they was like, that's cute. Do you think those people? Do you think my man in the cockpit is really like, man, that's really nice that lady is doing that? No, he's thinking you are a damn fool, and you don't even concern yourself with it. Okay, and we will hide behind. I'm an adult. I can do what I want to do. And that's the worst thing you can hide behind because a lot of times that makes you look like a bona fide fool. Okay, I got another subject. So we had another picture on here. And of course, people say, wow. So they had a picture of Dwayne Wade and his family. And he had his underage son. That's not Dwayne Wade's family. What do you mean? Well, who is it then? That's Gabrielle Union's family. Okay. Well, whomever it is. So think about this. So here's one of the things I was talking. Don't say that. So I was talking. But I'm saying that's their family. So at the end of the day, my issue, because a lot of people say, well, you have to allow in this society, I promise y'all, whatever adult men and women do on their time is their business. It's true to form. There you go. They're adults. That's right. But how is it that young people, especially now, this is the key, these are key numbers here, under the age 15. How is it that we have allowed them as children, they get a chance to pick their gender and their roles? Now, I'm just asking a question, and I really wish our phone lines was open. And I'm asking because a lot of people say, well, you got to allow people to do what they do, the sexuality and so on and so forth. Well, my thing is this. Most people don't know in the United States of America, you can only consent to sex at the age of 16. The picture of those kids, they are not 15 years old. I guarantee you.
So here becomes the issue for me. I thought young people and old people, according to the biblical scholars, they off limits. But pop culture has come in and taken over. And now they're forcing us to a position where we shouldn't say nothing about this. We shouldn't talk about this. We should allow the kids to be what they want. I'm not going to discriminate against no kid, no man, no woman under no circumstances. No. But if I see what's wrong, that is evil and demonic at its best, in my opinion. And I think somebody has to say, wait a minute, man, if you are a child, they're kid for a reason.
Stay in a child's place.
They don't have experiences. The adults have to say, wait a minute, let's give them time. Now, if you get to a certain age and you decide everything, that's what you want, that's fine. But as a child, how do we manage this now where we can control it? Because everything is based around that. What should we do, G, from your perspective?
Well, I want you to think about this, Raph. We didn't get to 51. You didn't get to almost 50 by not being 14. So, you know, as young men, you know, I digress for half a second, but I'm going to stay on topic. You know, when we were coming up, you can remember some of the old folks saying, boy, that boy Raphael sure is mannish. And your father almost took it like, yeah, okay, you're gonna be all right though. But that's what you're supposed to do. But your father didn't let you have your girlfriend over at 13, 14 years old. And y'all just busted mob.
Exactly.
The couch. You know,
there was some rules and regulations.
You walk in the room and Terry said, oh man, go ahead, Ralph, man. He would have said, boy, you better hurry up, mama about to come. So here we are now. What you're doing is forcing something down the throats, down the mouths, down the hearts of our young people.
Yes, and they don't know any better.
Like you said, I don't have a problem with anything. Whatever you decide to do
as an adult,
hey man, hey, by all means, go for it.
There you go.
But when you start to tell my daughter at 11, that you know this is an option here, you can do this.
Oh, gee, keep your thoughts. I got to tell this quick story, really quick. We're doing a session over at the school. We're talking, and one of the young guys in the session said his sister, 9 years old, she asked him, bro, can you read this book to me? She was a little uncomfortable. This is a true story. I'm only lying if the kid lied to me. He said he started reading, and they talked about in the book pansexuals. I said, what? Now listen. She's 9. You got to realize that pandemic is still not over. She was 7 when they was in school. What has happened in this time where she believed that she's a pansexual? So I heard somebody say, what is a pansexual? What a pansexual is, I looked it up. They said that
you like anything.
You like anything. Anything goes. You're 9. You're 9. This is not right. On no level, I don't care what anybody says. You have to stand behind that. Again, if you're an adult male, adult female, y'all want to do that's fine. But we're talking about children. So what happens? I ain't never been to heaven. They say it's one. What happens when you get to the pearly gates and you was the one who signed in the law to have all these things in place? But I got something to add. Do you realize that they have in place, I think they was trying to put on the books, I think it was Alabama, don't quote me on that you will be able to marry, it's no age limit that you can get married at. What? This is a real thing. You can look it up. They're talking about where I think the age was 12 years old. Wait a minute. Do y'all understand what type of can of worms you opening up?
Well, you know, it's kind of funny, Ralph, that we are saying that because they put a stranglehold on men.
Yeah.
They've given freedom to everyone else. I'm going to be real specific. Adrian Peterson was just ridiculed, ostracized and everything for whooping his son. Suspended out of the NFL for a few games, and everyone acted like he was the devil.
Yeah, absolutely. I remember.
So I've seen men who have gotten on their children, and people say you're too hard on them. But I've watched America for certain things, and so as as evil has gotten stronger, men have to be stronger with your children, and because if you don't, you're going to lose.
Hold on. So because you said that they said that we're too hard on the kids. That's what they were saying when we was coaching. When I was coaching, they said it was too hard. Okay. So think about this. How hard was the police guy on my man up in Grand Rapids?
Uh-oh.
See, what you have to realize, the guy, the police officer killed my man, they wrestling and tussling. See, when you talk about this, what America will do to our culture, and if we don't get control of it, it gets out of control, the lawlessness. People not, and so now what happens? We got some questions and some comments. Let me see if I can pull those up. Let me see.
Rico Richardson says,
okay, let me see what
is changing.
Okay.
You have to find a way to deal with it. It's not going to stop. And then she says, define hard. That's a great point.
Go ahead, G, define it for us.
So, well, the definition of hard is obviously it's synonymous with difficult. We're talking about life being hard or men being too hard on their children. And I understand where Sister Tamiko is going, Linwood girl in the building. So here we are. You know, men weren't too hard on us. They understood that life was going to be difficult for us.
Going to be worse.
Particularly for Black men.
Yes, sir.
So as I got older, as I got 16, 17, I started to realize, oh, this is why my grandmother said this. This is why we were given certain rules. I came home one time with a gallon of milk and I didn't have a bag. You better listen to me. This is God talking.
Oh, man.
My grandmother said, don't you ever. I said, well, Grandma, I paid for it. She said, don't you ever leave the store without a bag again. And it was a lecture for about a good 3-4 minutes. And then she talked about it later on after she had a Budweiser or two. And I understood what she was getting at, because that could be perceived as if you stole it.
There you go.
See, the rules for us have been different.
Yeah.
That's why the discipline for us was different. So sometimes you can't understand why my father told me I couldn't hang with two of the guys down the street, because he knew they were going to be in trouble. And because, yes, the elephant in the room was they didn't have a father or uncle anywhere around. But you didn't understand because you haven't lived in our shoes before. So understanding that this life is going to be difficult meant that your father had to make and your parents had to make a difficult situation for you at times so you can understand this can't be the life that you can live. Unfortunately for us right now, our young people are living life as if they have no repercussions for anything. And then when it hits, you get to see the young lady in the picture crying her head off as if someone is cutting her toes off one by one, because honestly, she had never dealt with true repercussions before. And now that they're staring her in the face and she's starting to realize, wait a minute, my life is standing right in front of me.
Yeah.
She can't comprehend.
Yes, sir.
So it's so unfortunate, because we've allowed people to tell us, and people say, man, why you so mean? Coach, man, I hear the young people say it all the time, and y'all children hear, man, your daddy doing too much.
Yeah, they doing too much.
Coach, I hear it every day. I love my students, man. I missed y'all today. But guess what? Coach, you're doing too much. I say, man, you've been in school since 8 o'clock. It's 8:15. You're still not in class. If you don't get your little behind the class, then I'm about to do something to you. Man, Coach, man, you're doing too much. No, I ain't doing too much.
Yeah.
The problem is when people are telling you that you're doing too much, Coach, it is really saying that their parents aren't doing enough.
Wow. Man, G, we got so many comments. We can't get to them all, but I have to touch on this last thing on our flyer, pop culture. We didn't talk about the Will Smith situation. And we understand what happened, and we all saw it. And when I saw it that night, I did think it was fake. But when you think about it, you mentioned this one day, and this is talking about emotional intelligence. And now, when you look back at what actually happened,
Will Smith,
my man said a few things. He said some jokes. He's a comedian now. He said something about his wife and the G.I. Jane, and I thought it was funny too. Will Smith thought it was funny too. And then he looked at his wife.
He a puppet.
And then he had to respond. So here was my issue with this, and I say people all the time because of what we do every day. He walked up on the stage because of, did his wife make him go? No, she couldn't physically make him go. But she gave him that look. And he had to respond because he laughed at first. He thought it was funny. Went up on the stage and slapped the man. Well, here's my issue with that. It's going to be some young dude who's going to be in a club in Detroit, Philadelphia, Chicago, LA, Florida, anywhere where there's a predominantly black folk. and he gonna be in there with his lady, and something is gonna be said, and he's gonna walk up and haul off and slap somebody, and he's and he is going to get killed.
Ain't no question.
Because what pop culture says now, it's okay.
And they're saying, and this is how dumb we got, but again, we're looking through the world through the lens of women.
Okay.
They lead now. Mm-hmm. So everybody's saying, yeah, he did a great job. He's supporting his wife. Wait a minute. I didn't hear. Now listen, I got a wife at home. Mm-hmm. Love her to death. Support her all the time. But my man cracking a joke meant that he was supporting and backing up his wife. He didn't say anything.
He's a comedian.
And the saddest part about it, man.
So what? So my question then. So then the comedians can't tell jokes now. Well, what is the problem? What's gonna happen? But go ahead to your point about that.
He told him to keep his wife's name out of his mouth. Well, I guess So it baffles me, and this is what I say. This to let you know things have gotten out of place.
Okay.
I look at a lot of times when the moms come in or the parents come into the school setting, and the parents are willing to dog out the coach, the teacher, the principal, and everybody else.
Yeah, anybody of authority.
But I'm looking at it, and the kid is dogging the very parent that's dogging another adult. So I looked at Will Smith, who his wife is dangling him on the string like he's a puppet. Now he's scared of her, but he ain't scared of a man. So everything is on haywire.
Absolutely.
The parents are scared of their children, and the husbands are scared of their wives. So how can we survive?
Yeah.
If the man ain't willing to lead and ain't willing to, if his old lady looked at him, he's supposed to look at her and say, "What's wrong, baby? Everything good. We talk about it later." But you're willing to lose every sense of your emotional intelligence due to somebody cracking a joke, and you do it in front of millions and millions of people. Now that's a bad thing. And again, you're gonna have some young brothers who's gonna let somebody tell them that that's proper.
I was trying to see Talanda's what her post said. I was trying to read it.
Hot girl Talanda?
Yeah, I was trying to read that. If we can
got it.
blow that. Can you see? You got your glasses on, G?
Which one?
She got 900 of them, but you know what she gonna do? She gonna
too hard. Now this now Queens.
Go ahead, read
this.
This
is not from G Ward or Raphael Peterson. This is Talanda Westbrook, Cooley High School.
Okay.
Too hard. We need our men to step up, stand up, and lead our young men. They need that structure, strength, and guidance. Well, I appreciate you saying that, Queen, and understand there's a lot of queens that feel like you do. But unfortunately for you, Talanda, you are a minority because everybody doesn't feel like that. But again, it's not our queen's fault because men, you got to do a better job. We're talking about Will Smith and Dwayne Wade, two men that are idolized in this country. And
pop culture.
Corporate America.
Ooh.
Corporate America has allowed these two gentlemen in. Now, is that a coincidence? Because they're the way they are? Because I think if they stood up, they stood up and said, "Nah, certain things not gonna go on." And again, I'm not talking about sexuality with my man or any of that, but I just know this: if one of my children decide at 12 or 13, or try to decide that they're going to do something alternative, they're not going to be kissing their boyfriend or girlfriend on our family picture.
No,
now I don't know why we're trying to accommodate these young people. And somebody said, well, so many of them have done some things to themselves, and I'm in total agreement with that. But I will say this:
they need some mental health treatment. That's what that is.
Treatment. But I will say this: do you realize the hard and difficult life that they're actually living every day? Because somebody said to me, well, man, G, I mean, come on, man, you don't want the young fella to do nothing to himself. I said, no, you lying to yourself, because look at the transformation this young fella's made 2-3 times. I've seen him as a boy. Then I seen him as trying to become a girl. And now when I looked at that photo the other day, I said, well, hold on, he a boy again? So what's happening is we're not addressing the true confusion. What we're trying to say is let's just be accommodating and let them do whatever they want to do. And that's a lie, because what they really want is some guidance. At some point, they want somebody to put their foot down and make a decision for them and say, this is what we're going to stick to.
And then this is what a lot of people are not thinking about. The brain is not fully developed until 25, according to some experts. What makes us think that a child should decide what he should be doing at the age? He could decide McDonald's or Burger King, but he can't decide if he gonna be a king or a queen. It's too young. And like you said, it's a different time, and I understand that. But the realization of it is this: they're children for a reason. They don't have the wisdom and the knowledge. We're around kids all the time. Kids are looking for that.
Absolutely.
That direction, that support. They're going to want to buck the system. But one thing about when you have them and you show them the right way, I think, and I promise you, I'm not no biblical scholar, don't claim to be, but I think if you do right by, they call it God's children, those young people and old people, you might get a seat up in heaven. And I'm going to tell you, I don't want to get there and he say, coach, man,
didn't make it.
You told these kids something wrong. You were going with popular culture and you were trying to fit in. Well, and then I'm sitting there because I'm sitting on the bench because that's how I imagine when you going up to heaven, because there's a lot of people in line and you sitting on the bench. So I imagine, and then when it's your turn, then they say, rap, step on up.
Well, I know if you get in, I'm good, though.
No, not son of a good.
I'm good.
Yeah, well, listen, because you got to think, if you get there and then he say, well, remember that time you was in the session and you had a platform and you started to go with pop culture because you were afraid.
Well,
what happens then, G? Can I call somebody and be like, no, God, man, listen, can I get a hookup? Can y'all get me in the back door?
No, it's over with.
Okay.
Because you didn't stand up.
You ain't stand up. Okay.
Somebody just had on here, and I didn't know who it was. They said, unfortunately, we feel like we don't need a man.
What?
Well, okay. It's the prevailing thought sometimes.
Yeah.
Because again, a lot of our queens are doing well financially. They don't have to deal with us. They feel like the disrespect that their grandfathers bestowed on some of their grandmothers and the disrespect that their fathers had bestowed on their mothers. Yeah. So the easiest way to make sure they don't have to endure any of that.
I don't need a man.
And the minute we, because again, as men, we mess up oftentimes. And I tell anybody, sometimes we fall short. I mean, nobody is without sin. But we have to do a better job, women, of making sure that we elect and select good fathers for our people, for our children, because you have so many young women who are watching you. You saw the young lady who was 1 year old or so. If she's watching that, let's think about this in a larger perspective. If a young lady is watching her mom or somebody
on a cell phone
upset, she starts boogieing. What else is she watching?
Yeah,
and going to mimic.
Right. Well, this is where it gets real touchy. So, young lady, the queen said, some women feel like they don't need a man. Okay. So the young girl, if she's in a household where she doesn't see a man, she grows up and says, what? I don't need a man. So I don't think anybody needs anything, but I think a car.
I need a one.
Listen, I would say this: a car. Let me just say this: a car don't need tires to roll.
No, you can roll it. It's gonna be messed up, but it's get rolled out.
But it's still roll. But try getting the car with some good tires. It roll a lot smoother. So now we ain't talking about men who are abusive, who are not doing the right thing. We talking about the good men. So then when we talk about that, you don't need nothing, but don't you want something to be togetherness in the family circle, go in the backyard, barbecue, play ball, catch with? What would it used to happen?
We got girl trips, we got girl outings, we got all this. But think about this though. Corey just said, our sister just said, we need the women to support the men. And I think that's one of the biggest things. And Dr. Carl Taylor sat in the very seat on the other side and talked about the joint responsibility.
Shared leadership.
We got to have shared leadership.
Yes, sir.
And I think that's the biggest thing is we're playing tug of war. And that's not what we should be doing right now.
Yeah, because we fighting one another. And we fight one another.
Life going on.
And life going on and our kids are losing.
Our kids are losing.
Losing.
Jackson just said something deep, man. JT in the building.
Okay, real quick, because we rolling. Well, go ahead.
JT
real quick.
in the building, one of our heroes. So if we can't challenge youth mentally when they choose to put themselves in tough situations, when things get rough, nobody's going to listen. And as we continue to lose our young people as a community, we lose as a whole. And that's exactly what's going on right now. We're losing as a whole. Yep, when you look at fancier cars, we look at bigger homes, we have those when you look at it statistically. We're doing a good job. Some of our people moving to the suburban areas and everything. You got some people that are doing well, but I'm watching too far many of our youth struggling emotionally, educationally, mentally, spiritually, and they're totally lost. And the family can't continue to move on and think that we're winning. No, if we're losing one, we're losing too many. And we have to just do a better job, man. And we got to look back and say, what do we have to do? Let's eliminate pop culture. Let's get back to our culture.
Yeah.
Let's get back to what was successful for us.
Yes.
If that means we're gonna make maybe 15, 20,000 less as a whole in the family, by all means, let's do it, because statistically we could see that our children were doing much better and young people were doing much better when everybody was involved from a village perspective in raising.
Man, G, I know we could be here all night, but people, we gonna have to go. But to that point, G, remember we talked about this. We're gonna have a relationship series.
Yes, ain't no question.
With young couples, older couples, in between couples. We don't want nobody coming on the show who just want to talk and want to be on the TV. We want people who are going to come on and have some great knowledge and impact to help our young people to start to navigate through life and bringing those relationships back. Because if we bring them all back together like they should be, I think our kids will start to grow and fulfill what they can ultimately be. So I would say this to everybody. We appreciate y'all. We had a great conversation. Don't forget, we back every Wednesday.
We're gonna have to change the time and go earlier because of the games.
Man, listen. Our people gonna be with us. We ain't got time for that. Listen, they come watch us. They gonna watch us.
There you go.
You understand what I'm saying? State Champions Podcast. We always in the building. I'm co-captain Raphael Keaton. To my left, to your right, George T. Ward. Listen, we'll see y'all next time. Peace, and we out of here.
CC crew in the building.
Yes, sir.
24, Raphael Peterson. Number 20, George Ward.
The Detroit Cooley Cardinals are the champions.